Right. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today we have the pleasure of Mr. Peter Bedard, who is the author of Billy and the Anxiety Monster, that has just been released here. It's actually on the book tour of Ireland at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
So we're really excited to have you. And so I think the first thing we want to do is find out, who is Peter Bedard? What's your background?
Oh my God, who's Peter Bedard? That is a huge question. I'm still figuring all that out. But my background is that I am a mental health therapist. I came upon my career, which I've been in for almost 20 years now, through my own healing process. Many years ago, someone killed me. I died. I know you're going to be interviewing my soul sister, Mary Helen Hensley. And we both have had these near-death experiences. We had to recover from all kinds of things. In my recovery process, the doctors didn't really know what to do with me. They were great about putting the bones together, but they had no idea what to do with all the other stuff. So I refused taking more pharmaceuticals. I refused doing another surgery, and I had to go out and heal myself. So I stumbled into all kinds of amazing, wonderful people in the alternative holistic worlds of healing. Wow. And it was amazing. I mean, I healed things I was told that I'll never be able to heal. And so I am a walking miracle, and I now work with my own clients and have for 20 years. I created a process that I call convergence healing, and convergence is a coming together, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the idea that we're working body, mind, and spirit, and people throw that out there, oh, body, mind, spirit, but people really don't know what that means. Yeah. And I'm about practically applying that concept, right, and creating a roadmap or a blueprint for that individual's success in their healing. My experience was that somebody killed me. I shattered my left knee. I split my right wrist open. I lost all the nerves in my hand. I cracked 5 vertebrae. I had undiagnosed brain damage, and nobody even bothered to test for it. Wow. So I had to come back. I lost everything that I had at that point. I was on my way to becoming a professional dancer. I didn't get to do that because my career was cut short with my leg being shattered. And I had incredible amounts of pain. And the doctors were amazing. The surgery that they did for me was phenomenal. They had 14 surgeons come in from the NFL to put my knee back together. And that was remarkable. Wow. And I am so grateful for that. But after that, they had no idea what to do with me. So in healing myself, I got a master's degree in consciousness studies, which at the time was a new degree, and it was a 50-50 split between science and religion. And it was amazing. It was, okay. Gosh, I was so excited about it. When I studied the coursework or looked at the coursework, I was told myself that I need this degree. I need to get this. And we studied theology, like Christian mysticism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, Hinduism, and we studied quantum theory, the fifth dimension, string theory, all those types of things. And it was theoretical. I'm not a quantum physicist, but it was the idea that everything is grounded in energy. Right. And so if we're to heal ourselves, we need to take those steps, and we need to ground it in that energetic experience, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So I like to say that when, let's say one of my professional football players came into the office and I was working with them, they had a busted up knee like I had, right? The doctors are working on that. That's the physical side, right? They're doing the therapy, the surgeries, or whatever they're doing. And that's the body side of body, mind, spirit, right? Then on the mind side, these guys are in a panic. I mean, they're in anguish. They don't know what they're going to do, where they're going to go, what's going to happen with the season. Are they going to let their friends down, their teammates? Are they going to be able to pay for the $14 million house they just bought, right? That mental anguish is part of that initial wound, yes. Right? Yeah. And then there's the heart wound, right? That happened when their knee got busted. These guys are passionate about playing ball. It's what they love. It's what they do. It's their life energy. It's their, they wake up in the morning living, breathing football, right? And so to have that broken heart is part of what we need to heal, right? Yeah. And so it's great they're going to the doctors, but if their mind's in a panic and their heart is breaking, then how are they ever really going to heal? And so the convergence is bringing all of those healing modalities together, whatever ones we decide on. Like I do a lot of spiritual counseling, right? Not religion, I like to do counseling that's grounded in oneness, and that the truth of your being is that you are whole, perfect, and complete, exactly as you are. Right?
Yes.
Maybe this injury was put upon you. Maybe there was a trauma. Maybe there was an addiction. Maybe there's an anxiety, right? That's on top of you. But the core of who you are, and this is foundational to my work, the core of who you are is whole, perfect, and complete. So my job is to clear off all the crap. Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you can.
Right? So my job is to hold your hand and work on developing a plan that is going to be body, mind, spirit, really applying it in a practical way to actually get your healing happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So I work in a cancer center as well. Do you see a lot of cancer patients?
You know, I don't right now, but in the 20 years that I've been in practice, I had a period for about 5-6 years where almost every client I had was someone affected by cancer, specifically women with breast cancer. And they taught me so much. I learned so much. And one of the things they taught me was this idea that we have to love these parts of us that are suffering.
Okay.
And people have said to me, well, why would I want to love my cancer? And my response is, because it's suffering. It's in pain. It's a part of you that isn't in health. Right?
Yes.
So the approach that I take with people is to love these parts and to let the part itself guide the healing. Right? And so we work on learning how to listen with all of our senses. Color, temperature, texture, sound, smell, taste. We learn how to listen to this part of us that's suffering, that developed the tumor, so that we can then guide it into healing. And we love it. Instead of being angry at it and frustrated at it and being upset, you know, we say things like, I don't want to say it to anybody, right? But if that's that part of our body that we're not happy with, right? And we say things like, I hate you, I can't stand you, I wish you'd just go away, I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed of you. Right? We say that to this part, which is saying it truly to ourselves.
Right.
Right? Instead, what if we turned around and said, I'm so sorry you're suffering. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, whatever brought you to that place, I am so sorry. And I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you so much. I'm going to shower you in love. Just my saying that to you, how does that feel?
It's a completely
different experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like a lot of us get sick because we're angry, we have this hatred. So getting hatred at the cancer can only make it worse. So
yeah, exactly.
let it grow.
All we're doing, you know, in those angry thoughts, those shameful thoughts, shame is an awful experience. Guilt, an awful experience. And by entertaining those experiences more, all we're doing in our thinking creates experiences in our bodies. And if we're thinking in that shame, we're thinking in that trauma, we're thinking in that anxiety, all we're doing is triggering a flow of stressful chemicals that they don't support healing, they support sickness.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It's put like that.
Right.
It does change the way
I
you
love
think.
working with cancer, people that are going through the experience of cancer. I absolutely love it.
'Cause
There's so much life that we bring out.
Yeah, because there's so much fear, like through my own mother and stuff, like there was so much fear.
Yeah. So you have
all
a
of us.
personal experience in your circle,
Yeah.
right? I wonder what could have happened, right? Not to create any negativity.
No, absolutely,
I
yeah.
wonder if the people that you knew, instead of being torn down, right? Instead of being embarrassed or ashamed or hiding it, because it's a lot of people do,
Yes.
right? I wonder if we embrace them. I wonder if we love them. I wonder if we love them and then they could love this part of them that's suffering. And if we all put together that energy, right? If we all brought that love,
Yeah.
right? I wonder, and I've seen miracles happen. I've seen them in my own life. I've seen them with my clients in the last 20 years. It's remarkable. Yeah.
It's just a change of mindset, isn't it?
It's more than that. It's a change of spirit. It's a change of mind and thinking. It's a change of behavior, right? And it's a change of the heart. It's all three of those things. Can't just change your thinking. You have to change your thinking, you have to change your behaviors, right? And you have to change how you feel. Right? That heart feeling experience. That's what I talk about with spirit, right? It's this energy, this life force, right? When I talk spirit, that's what I'm referring to, right? What is my heart feeling right now?
Right.
And if I can bring my heart to a place of love, of compassion, of kindness, I wonder what my physical body would feel like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So when I know you're a practitioner of yoga and like yoga.
Oh, I love yoga. I don't know if I'm a practitioner. I've done yoga for years now, but I'm certainly not an expert at it.
And how do you find that transition where we talk about prana and we talk about connecting to the inner body? Is that sort of what we're talking about when you connect?
It can be.
That similar feel?
Yeah, it absolutely can be. But it also can be when a runner goes on a run, right? And in the beginning, their brain is in the, oh my God, it's too cold. I don't want to do this. Everything hurts. I don't want to get out the door, right? But they go out anyway, and they're complaining while they're running. And then all of a sudden they realize, wait a minute, I just ran 5 miles, right? And they feel completely differently. And it's just that runner's high, right? Same things can happen in yoga.
Yes.
Right? Same thing can happen by suddenly stopping and doing 10 jumping jacks.
Yes.
When you're stuck in that experience, right, of the complaining or the pain or whatever it is, that anxiousness, that anguish I mentioned earlier, right? That anxiety, like I talk about in my books. When you're in that experience, if you can step back from it and create a change, right? Whether it's a feeling change, or a heart change, or a mind change, you're stepping away from the experience that is the pain itself.
Yes, that makes complete sense. So this brings us on to your book. So, I mean, anxiety is probably one of the biggest things at the moment.
It's ridiculous. There's more than 400 million people every day suffering from some sort of anxiety.
And you find, obviously, that anxiety creates other illnesses.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, so that's the sort of the precursor. It sets it off.
It can be, yeah. So anxiety is a form of fear, right? I feel anxious about going someplace. I'm going to be judged. I'm not good enough, right? I'm anxious about getting up in the air and flying in a plane. I'm sending a story in my head. I'm catastrophizing, right?
Yes.
And I challenge that. And I say people who are catastrophizing are really good at this skill. They're really good at it. They can feel it, they can smell it, they can taste it, they can see it in their mind's eye. They know what that fear they're creating is.
That's
right?
true, actually, yeah.
I wonder if they could use those same skills. So whoever's watching right now, I wonder if you could use those same skills, because it's a skill. You're good at it. I wonder if you could use that same skill to do what I call positivizing. So instead of catastrophizing for a bleak, horrible future, I wonder if right now I can positivize, right? If I can smell it, if I can taste it, if I can feel it, if I can see it in my mind's eye. Same skills.
Yes.
I wonder if I could create a different outcome.
Yeah.
Because that catastrophizing creates an outcome. They don't get on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Or they get more
Absolutely.
sick, right? It creates an outcome.
Yes.
And people have said to me over the years, well, isn't that kind of Pollyanna? No, it's not. It's actually using the tools that you have to create the reality that you want.
So as listening to you talk, it reminds me very much of the book The Secret. That whole visualizing.
My God, that was like 20 years ago.
Long time ago. Now, obviously, I know that kind of went into a little bit more material stuff.
Yeah.
But the idea of listening to you talk, if we can manifest a better version of ourselves.
Sure. And you can't just walk around putting sticky notes all over the place telling yourself to be happy. I am happy, right? Those positive manifestations or mantras or whatever you want to call them, I am statements. They're great. But if the feeling behind the I am statement, right? And that's something The Secret didn't really talk about.
Yes.
Right? So if you're always canceling the I am statement with a negative feeling, a feeling of fear, worry, anxiety, whatever it is, right? If you're doing that, then you're not going to move forward. You're actually going to move backward. because the feeling isn't in alignment. It has to be thought and feeling and behavior.
Yes.
Right? And again, that's that convergence. That's that coming together. All right, I'm sitting down working with you. What is that roadmap? Because we need to feel differently, we need to think differently, and we need to act differently. And let's make it fun. Like, I laugh all the time. Like, I work with my clients and I laugh. And in the beginning, some of them might say, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, well, the irony of this whole situation. How about that? Right? Yeah. And if I didn't laugh, I mean, I was slammed into the back of a semi-truck, right? If I didn't laugh at that, then I can't imagine, I literally cannot imagine where I would be today. I certainly wouldn't be with you here right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that brings us nicely into your book.
Yeah.
What's the idea behind the book?
So this process of healing ourselves that involves loving the part of us that's suffering, right? And then going to it to ask what it needs in order to feel better, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a individualized process. Now, someone may want to do it completely holistically, right? And they're not going to participate in the allopathic type of medicine type of thing, right? They're going to go into natural medicine. Somebody else might go, oh my gosh, this part of me, I need to do the surgery. I need to do, like you said, cancer. I need to do the radiation, right? Yes. And I was on the fence. I don't know what I should do, but now I'm letting the part of me that I'm loving and healing, and I'm listening to it, and it's guiding me in that direction, right? Yeah. I step out of my own judgments, my own opinions, all of that type of stuff. I try to do the best I can, which is almost impossible for anybody, but I do step out as best I can, right? Yeah. To let people tune in to themselves, whether it's anxiety or whether it's a tumor, right? And so this process can be applied to anything. I wrote my first book on pain. So my first book was about loving pain, right? The second book and this third book are about loving the anxiety. And my fourth book is about loving the depression. It's not out yet. Wow. Right? And so the anxiety book, I'll hold it up. There you go. Right? I wrote it in a children's style for adults with the idea that it will be an all ages book. Right. My inspiration, I think I mentioned to you, was the movie Shrek. Brilliant. Right? Where everybody loves that movie. It doesn't matter what age you are, right? Everybody loves that movie. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I wrote it in a children's style. It's illustrated. It's very sweet. Right through there.
Lovely and colorful.
Yeah, so that it would bypass our judgmental adult brains, right? So to try and make mental health and healing fun and easy, because it can be. Yeah. We tend to overthink things and make things so hard. But you know what? It can be easy, right? So I wrote it in this fashion, and it's been such a success. And adults have been loving it, and they've been bringing it to their nieces, their nephews, to their kids. I had some older ladies in their 80s who brought it to their grandkids who are in college. One particular woman told me a story how she brought it to her daughter, her niece, who was in nursing school, and her whole cohort in school read the book together because they were all panicking with anxiety about taking the test and passing the exams. And they actually read the book, walked into the exams, and passed them. Like wow. their anxiety was supporting them, right? They were enlisting the anxiety to help them instead of turn them down. Wow. The anxiety and the source of anxiety is pretty much always to help protect us, right? Okay. It's just doing it in a way we may not like, right? It creates a experience of fight, flee, freeze, hide, right?
Yes.
Isn't it trying to protect us?
Yeah.
Right? So when we can then work with it and be like, hey, I got this. You don't need to protect me right now, but you can help me. And ultimately, that's what you're trying to do.
Right.
Right? And so I adapted that first book, and it's just out to this, which is an activity book. So you can actually not only read the story, but you can go through the process on your own with Billy. Billy's the kid in the book, right? So you can actually read the story, you can answer questions, you can color, you can draw your anxiety monster, right? Yeah. So you're participating in the process with Billy.
Right, because I see that the coloring books are huge for anxiety. They're across the world. They've just gone crazy. People,
Well, when I first came up with the concept, it was, gosh, almost 2 years ago. It wasn't so popular, and it's taken off. So I'm very grateful to be on that cusp.
absolutely. So this is all. Would it be a step-by-step guide, or for someone that has anxiety from the very first acknowledging it to?
Absolutely. So you can follow along and just read Billy's story. So if you're that type of person, you just like to have a inspirational story, you can just read it, right? You can go through the steps, which I have at the back of the book.
Brilliant.
So you have the steps right there. So if you want to actually go through them more consciously and less as entertainment, right? Because the book is really about, it's about entertainment. It's about self-reflection, looking in and that type of stuff.
Right.
But if you wanted to sort of do a group, like the girl I talked about in the cohort with her nursing students, right? If you wanted to take your friends with it, you could read the book together and go through the steps and follow those steps, which is what Billy goes through as part of his story.
So this is their own therapy, basically. Basically, it's an individual.
I'm all about giving people tools. I have tons of videos. I got my books, right? I have the YouTube postings that I do. I have my social media. I have my one-on-one clients and workshops and my speaking things. It's my passion is to bring tools to people so that they can actually create a better life for themselves, right? And if I get to participate in it individually, amazing. If I get to participate in it second-handedly, right, through the book, even better.
Yeah, and where can people get hold of your YouTubes and your Instagrams?
Well, YouTube, they can find me by typing in my name or my brand, right? My business is called Convergence Healing, or they can put my name in and look it up. There's all kinds of stuff, my website, social media, all that type of stuff. And the books are also on Amazon, and they could buy them through Barnes & Noble, and they could order them through me. And they have international ISBN numbers, so they can actually go into a bookshop and order them directly through the bookshop if it's not on their shelves.
And we can actually put that into the comments.
Sure.
So that people can read and find, because I mean, everyone I know, read myself, we have serious anxiety.
Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah. Right? Well, know that it's trying to help you. Its intention, right? Instead, we get mad at it, right? Oh, I'm feeling anxious today. Gosh, I'm so angry about that. And we get angry about it and we want to reach for a drink or something else, right? Well, if you were my anxiety, nobody can see you, right? But I know you're there. I see you. I feel you. I know your presence. Like in the movies, you're the ghost that nobody can see, but I can see you.
Yes.
You're my anxiety. And if I treated you in the way that we normally treat, we're taught in a way to treat our anxiety, which I want to drug you. I want to give you a pill to make you shut up and go away.
Yes.
Or silence you. I'm going to take a drink in order to get you to be silent so I don't feel you anymore.
Yes.
Right? Or I'm doing whatever it is. I'm trying to avoid you as best as possible. How do you think that would feel if you're my anxiety? Is that a positive experience or a negative experience?
Negative.
Does it encourage your anxiety or does it decrease your anxiety?
It's going to encourage it.
Exactly.
You know, because
Exactly.
who are you
So it
to tell me?
increases it.
Yeah, I'm here to help you and you're giving out to me.
Exactly. Exactly. So if I say to you, hey, I feel you right now. I know you're feeling anxious. I can feel it too. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to listen because you're part of me. So I'm going to listen with all of the skills I have for you to communicate and share with me what you need right now in this moment. What do you need right now? Because we're walking out that door, we're going to work or we're going to do whatever it is, right?
Yes.
We're going to go do this. I love you. I'm so sorry you're feeling that. And what can I do right now, physically, that's going to help you breathe better? What can I do right now, mentally, in my thinking, that's going to help you be able to walk through that door? What can I do right now on that heart level that's going to assist you, right, in truly helping me? Because I appreciate how you're doing it, but the way you're doing it doesn't work anymore. So what can I do right now to help you feel better?
That's brilliant. It actually reminds me of Fight Club.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, where the guys are fighting, but there's no one there.
Right.
So you're talking.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it,
fighting with yourself and you're
Yeah.
talking with, but you're actually giving yourself the talking to.
Yeah.
You're doing your own meditation, your own therapy.
Well, and how much, like in some of those scenes in Fight Club, they're brutal.
Yeah.
How often are we actually doing that to ourselves?
Absolutely.
Right?
100%. It's
And it doesn't work. It just creates more and more of a problem.
yeah, and I think even listening to that now, going back and watching that film, you'll have a different
It would be
view
interesting.
of what you actually thought it was. So we all have our own fight clubs, basically.
Yeah,
every
going
single
on
day.
inside us. Going on.
It's just lovely to hear it put that way, because it does change your perception, and it changed. Even now, I'm just like, oh, that's completely different.
So remember, I said at the beginning of our conversation that my job is to help you, hold your hand, guide you, whatever it is, so that you can do it on your own,
Yeah.
right? To think differently, to make a different choice, behavior,
Yes.
right? To maybe feel different in your heart.
Yeah.
Have we done that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And there we go.
That was amazing.
Just in the interview.
Just, everything's just completely changed.
I'm glad.
And I know that there's in works with a movie that's coming out at some stage.
Absolutely.
Could you tell us a little bit about that? Are you allowed to tell us a little bit about that? Because I know all
top
these things.
secret.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't in. It's still in production. It's screening as a preliminary screening. It's not been released yet. It's being done as a fundraiser for the Mayo Roscommon Hospice.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah. And the filmmaker's coming over from New Jersey, and we're doing a screening here in Athlone at
the Dean Crow.
Dean Crow. At the Dean Crow. Yeah, I'm still learning my way around town. And it's going to be on the 17th of this month.
Wow.
And as a fundraiser for Mayo Roscommon. And it's very exciting. It's called What Every Soul Knows. And it's a collection of interviews. It's documentary style of people like me and our dear friend, Dr. Mary Helen Hensley, in the film, right? We're talking about our experience, what the purpose of life is, what the meaning of life is from a spiritual perspective. So we're in the film. I know Bashar's in the film, and Eben Alexander, different people are in the film, sharing that experience to support people in embracing death, embracing that they're here and who they are in this experience right now is absolutely perfect.
And it's great that you're actually going to get a worldwide audience. So you're going to bring what you're teaching and what you're to a wider audience that may never have heard of it. Some people don't like YouTube or don't watch it, but which I think is amazing. And I think it's also the way the world is changing a little bit. I know we talk about dark times, but there is a huge upturn.
There is a consciousness shift. Right? Yeah. I was watching Bridget Jones' Diary, never seen it before. I was told I have to watch these movies. And, you know, watching the evolution of those movies is really interesting about women's rights and LGBT rights and how women were in the first movie, sexual harassment is all over that movie, right? And by the third movie, there's a consciousness, right? Where people are kind of, in a way, growing up, maturing. Right? You could kind of see it in the decades of that film, or those films. It's fascinating. And we're doing the same. And it's rough. You know, we're holding on to the past. We're holding on to old behaviors. We want to make things great again, right? Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep evolving, right? You can't go back.
No.
People do that with sickness, right? They want to go back to how they were before the sickness. That is such a waste of time.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's now create a future, a present moment that is full of joy.
Yes.
And let's do that for everybody.
Yeah, and it makes sense because if you're a runner and you can't run anymore, you just think about, I want to run.
Right.
Instead of saying, well, what else can I do?
What else can I do?
And there's thousands of other things you can do.
And maybe not running is actually the gift you needed to discover something completely new. And that's why in my first book, I'm always talking about pain as a gift, right? It's a calling. It's actually calling us to change, to do something, to be something more.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah. But the movie is great. So again, it'll be out in full release soon. Right now, it's just a test run.
And we'll be out to support that.
I love that. Thank you. What Every Soul Knows. Peter Alexandria. You can look it up, whateversoulknows.com. You can go to the website for it if you want to see screenings. I think they're going to be doing screenings all over the place. So
brilliant.
It's pretty cool.
Really look forward to that.
Peter, could I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Oh, fire ahead.
Is there a crisis of introspection in terms of being knowledgeable about what's going on inside of you? So there's intelligence which is just your IQ, and there's interpersonal intelligence, feeling what someone else is feeling. But is there a lack of intelligence about what's your own feeling?
I very much think so, because a lot. So it's funny what you're saying. So is there a crisis of introspection? I think there's a crisis of people taking themselves too seriously. Right? And this sort of self-righteousness that comes from it, right? Where it becomes all about, I am this, I am that type of thing. You need to love me, that type of thing. And I'm like, do I really? I'm going to let you be who you are. Absolutely. And I'm great. I'll support you discovering who you are. I'll support all of that. I absolutely think that's amazing. Self-discovery, self-awareness, absolutely. But there is a crisis of seriousness about that, and that this idea that everybody's supposed to love you for it, where they're on all their own journeys, right? And what a waste of time to be seeking out everybody's love and approval. What a waste of time. So I think there's a growing self-awareness, which is great. It's in its immature stage. There's a growing sense of understanding what self-reflection is, and actually being able to self-reflect itself on yourself, right? And that is an amazing, beautiful, awesome thing. And, right, there's this kind of fine line with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think it's all going in the right direction. And I should say, not but, because but negates. And I think it's awesome. And the pendulum is swinging back and forth all the time from one extreme to the other extreme. And over time, I don't know if I give a lot of credence to this, but people say we're in a new golden age. And the beginning of the golden age is everything gets shook up. And I think that's what's happening, right? Things are getting shaken up. They go from one extreme to the other extreme and back and forth. And I believe in my heart that it's finding its center.
So, Peter, thank you so much for taking your time to share your amazing insights with us and changing us and giving us a different view of the world, that we all have a certain view, where all of a sudden you've sort of changed it around and go, well, it's not. Take it on the tinted windows and see it in a different light, which I think it certainly has for me anyway. So I just want to thank you very much for coming in, taking the time to do that, and hopefully everyone else will get the same feeling that we certainly have here today.
I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much.